Let's talk about crypto. For years it was everywhere, hailed as a revolution or dismissed as the world's biggest scam. The pitch? Get rich quick. Just buy in early and you're set. Headlines screamed about digital art selling for millions, celebrities flaunted cartoon apes, and FOMO swept the world. Suddenly, if you weren't buying pixelated rocks, you were missing out on the future. The hype was irresistible, stories of overnight millionaires, a promise to beat a rigged system. Experts warned it was a bubble, but the numbers kept climbing, and evangelists insisted this was the next internet. But as the mania peaked, a darker question emerged. If everyone's getting rich, where's the money coming from? The answer, from the last ones in, the oldest trick in the book. So, you're hearing all the buzz, the hype, the astronomical numbers being thrown around. Everyone's talking about NFTs, but what does it all really mean? What is an NFT? It's a non-fungible token, a unique digital asset. Essentially, it's a digital certificate of ownership recorded on a blockchain. Think of it as a digital ledger that verifies who owns what. This ledger is distributed across many computers, making it very secure and transparent. But here's the catch. You're not actually buying the art, the music, the meme, or whatever digital item the NFT represents itself. Instead, you're buying a receipt, a unique line of code that says you own a link pointing to that digital item. It's like owning the deed to a house, but not the house itself. The actual file, the image, the song. It's still online, freely accessible for anyone to see, listen to, or even download. Remember those viral memes that took the internet by storm? People paid fortunes for NFTs of memes like Disaster Girl and Nyan Cat, iconic pieces of internet history. But when you break it down, all they really got was digital bragging rights, a certificate to show off. The NFT itself is just a token, a pointer on the blockchain. The actual image, video, or audio file is usually stored elsewhere, often on a centralized server. And here's the scary part. If that server disappears, goes offline, or the company hosting it goes bankrupt, your NFT points to nothing. You're left with a worthless token. The initial promise of NFTs was digital immortality, a way to preserve digital art and culture forever, but the reality has often been fragile, fleeting, and prone to disappearing altogether. And here's another crucial point to understand. NFTs and crypto are deeply intertwined. Most NFTs run on blockchains like Ethereum, which means they rely on the Ethereum network and its cryptocurrency, Ether. Consequently, you need crypto, specifically Ether, to buy them. You can't just use regular money. This created a closed loop, a self-reinforcing system. The intense hype surrounding NFTs drove up the prices of cryptocurrencies like Ether, and those rising crypto prices in turn made NFT sales look even bigger and more impressive than they actually were, creating an illusion of massive growth. Insiders, early adopters, and those in the know traded NFTs with each other, artificially inflating prices and luring in outsiders, newcomers desperate not to miss out on what they perceived as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In the end, it was a masterclass in manufactured demand, a carefully orchestrated illusion of value. When the money started rolling in, it wasn't just a trickle, it was a flood. Fortunes were being made overnight, and the allure of quick riches was impossible to ignore. The crypto world was booming, and everyone wanted a piece of the action. And where the money goes, celebrities inevitably follow. NFTs became the new playground for the rich and famous. Snoop Dogg, a longtime advocate for crypto and emerging technologies, was among the first to jump on the NFT bandwagon. Eminem, another cultural icon, soon followed suit, further legitimizing the NFT space in the eyes of the masses. And even Gwyneth Paltrow, known for her ventures into wellness and lifestyle, couldn't resist the siren call of NFTs. They were all shilling digital apes, the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs, which quickly became the hottest commodity in the digital art world. The Bored Ape Yacht Club wasn't just a collection of digital images, it became a status symbol, a digital flex for the elite. The initial collection sold out in hours, creating an instant frenzy and a sense of exclusivity. The project was heavily hyped by insiders, influencers, and of course the celebrities who had bought in, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of demand. But much of this perceived organic growth was carefully staged, a meticulously crafted illusion. In reality, wallets linked to celebrities were often controlled and managed by business partners, promoters, or even the NFT projects themselves. Companies like MoonPay played a significant role, making it incredibly easy for celebrities to purchase NFTs, often facilitating the transactions behind the scenes. This fueled a massive marketing frenzy, creating the impression of widespread adoption and genuine enthusiasm, even when it was largely manufactured. The primary goal was simple: to make NFTs seem incredibly exclusive, desirable, and therefore valuable. All this, even though many of these digital assets had no real intrinsic worth or utility beyond their perceived scarcity. Lavish parties, exclusive VIP events, and other perks were used to reinforce the illusion of a thriving community and a valuable investment. But in reality, it was all built on artificial scarcity, hype, and pure speculation. The value of these NFTs depended entirely on finding someone else willing to pay even more for them, a classic example of the greater fool theory in action. And as soon as the hype began to fade and the market cooled down, the celebrities, predictably, moved on to the next shiny object, leaving their fans and followers holding the bag, stuck with expensive digital souvenirs that were rapidly losing their value. The party was over, the lights went out, and the music stopped before most people even realized it had begun, leaving many wondering what had just happened. To understand the mania surrounding cryptocurrencies, it's essential to start with Bitcoin, the original digital currency that sparked it all. It's the foundation upon which the entire crypto ecosystem was built, for better or for worse. Launched in 2009 as a decentralized and anonymous alternative to traditional government-controlled money. The idea was revolutionary, promising a financial system free from intermediaries and censorship. Early adopters, true believers in the technology, dreamed of financial liberation, envisioning a world where individuals had complete control over their assets. They saw Bitcoin as a way to bypass traditional financial institutions and create a more equitable system. But reality hit hard, revealing the inherent flaws and limitations of the system. Bitcoin is slow, with transaction speeds far behind those of conventional payment systems. It's also expensive, with transaction fees that can sometimes exceed the value of the transaction itself. And perhaps most concerningly, it's incredibly energy-hungry. Its mining, the process of verifying transactions, now consumes more power than some entire countries, raising serious environmental concerns. Furthermore, most mining is controlled by a few giant corporations, undermining the original vision of decentralization. Trading, the primary way most people interact with Bitcoin, happens on centralized exchanges. The very middlemen Bitcoin was meant to eliminate, creating a paradoxical situation. The dream of a new financial system, a truly decentralized and accessible alternative, gave way to rampant speculation. Bitcoin became digital gold, a store of value, not a practical form of money for everyday transactions. Its price is far too volatile for daily use, making it unsuitable for most real-world purchases. So, for many, it's just a bet that someone else will pay more later, a purely speculative investment. The revolution, the promise of a new financial paradigm, was replaced by a get-rich-quick mentality, fueled by hype and FOMO. This paved the way for thousands of copycat tokens, altcoins seeking to replicate Bitcoin's success, often with even less utility. And countless projects, all chasing the same speculative high, contributing to a massive and unsustainable bubble. The promise of changing the world, of empowering individuals and revolutionizing finance, faded, as the desire to get rich quick took over, overshadowing the original ideals. So, what is Bitcoin's legacy? Is it a revolutionary technology, or simply a volatile casino, not a financial utopia, but a breeding ground for speculation and greed? Ethereum's launch in 2015 unleashed a flood of new tokens and the ICO boom, a financial Wild West. Anyone could launch a coin and raise millions overnight, no oversight required. Some projects were genuine, but many were scams or jokes, like Jesus Coin and Ponzi Coin. Celebrities like Floyd Mayweather and DJ Khaled promoted fake projects like Centra Tech, which ended in arrests and fines. Insiders created billions of tokens, hyped them online and dumped them on unsuspecting buyers. There were no protections, no accountability, just a global casino where the house always won. The promise was financial freedom, but most people learned a harsh lesson. Digital dreams can turn to dust overnight. The system overwhelmingly benefited insiders and grifters. For the public, it was a brutal, expensive education in unregulated greed. Crypto culture built its own language and rituals to keep the faith alive. HODL, hold on for dear life, meant never sell, no matter what. WAGMI, we're all gonna make it, promised collective riches. Skeptics were dismissed as spreading FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Social pressure was intense. Sell and you're weak, question and you're an enemy. This echo chamber turned financial risk into a badge of honor. With no fundamentals to anchor value, belief was everything. Dissent threatened the whole system, so it was crushed. People doubled down, even as evidence of scams mounted. The result? Many lost everything, trapped by a community that equated holding on with virtue. Eventually the backlash hit. The public grew tired of celebrity shills and endless scams. Experts called blockchain a solution in search of a problem, and the Web3 dream collapsed under scrutiny. Even the most successful crypto games like Axie Infinity exploited users and crashed, wiping out savings. After a decade, crypto produced no mass-adopted use case beyond speculation. It didn't become money, didn't decentralize the web, didn't bank the unbanked. Instead, it concentrated wealth among a tiny elite while most lost out. The promise of democratizing finance was a lie. The system was rigged from the start. Now prices have crashed, NFTs are worthless, and the hype merchants have vanished. For most, the crypto revolution ended in losses and regret. The ticking time bomb exploded, leaving millions holding the bag.